When you guys decided to leave that stable job, how did you navigate that process together to whatever the next thing was?
It was like Wolf of Wall Street, if anything, right? It was just total chaos, total fun, a young man's game, so to speak. And we were 3 months away from having our first child.
Okay.
And was like, in that workplace, spouses were not allowed, kids were not allowed. Like, it was crazy. I mean, drugs, alcohol, you name it.
We really didn't do it thinking, oh, we're gonna build this like Inc. 5000 agency. We're gonna do all these things. Like, we really just wanted to be able to provide for our families at that point. And so
I spoke to my wife about something, and she just doesn't get it. I'm like, you just don't get it, and your ego gets in the way. And I need to speak to somebody who is in the business or something. But actually, that's just the ego talking, really.
Yeah.
If you don't know what you're doing, you have to find.
When you're first getting started, there is this, I think, scarcity mindset where we're thinking like, oh, let me pay somebody a little bit so I can.
To this day, I've never been the highest paid person in the company. With that being said, the only way to build money and build wealth, I believe, is...
What are you seeing in terms of agency services? Where's the shift going?
We just had an event this year focused on this specifically. Like, Facebook was saying, hey, we're literally building this in order to not have to work through agencies.
That's an even bigger risk.
100%. It's a lot easier for a little boat to change direction than a cruise line.
Our head of data was the head of data for one of the largest banks in the country. In fact, sometimes it sucks. And I'll never forget Karen coming home to me. Actually, I don't remember, but with the shower, fully naked, passed out. I had a panic attack, and I was in there for hours, and I ended up in the hospital for days because I was struggling with anxiety.
Welcome to the HighLevel Experience Podcast, proudly presented by HighLevel. Each week, we sit down with leaders from across the high-level community to unpack their systems, stories, strategies, and breakthroughs. Whether you're scaling an agency, building a SaaS, or leveling up your automations, you're in the right place. Now, here's your host, a fellow high-leveler, Vit Muller.
Hey everyone, Vit here. Welcome to another episode on the HighLevel Experience Podcast. Now, today's episode is really special, not just because of who I'm interviewing, but because we actually sat down in person at the Level Up Summit, something I rarely get to do. And these two absolute legends took 90 minutes out of their crazy schedules to share real behind-the-scenes wisdom about what it actually takes to build and scale an agency without burning out. They started their business from a spare bedroom, built one of the fastest growing agencies in the US, ranked on the Inc. 5000 multiple times. And now they dedicate their lives to helping other agency owners scale with stability and purpose. We talked about everything from how they walked away from a toxic culture to build one based on family and faith, to the truth about hiring leadership and what happens when your people leave. We even dove into agency trends, AI, and why the future belongs to those who integrate life, business, and mission. Their story is inspiring, raw, and packed with gold nuggets for every entrepreneur who's ever tried to embrace the chaos. Please welcome to the show Karen and JC Hite from Hite Digital.
Thank you for inviting us. I'm glad that we finally made it work. The schedule there with Australia and the US, I'm like, I don't know if we're going to be able to make it.
Yeah, it's always tricky. Yeah. I do like a Zoom thing, and that's generally like the concept, but it's when there's an opportunity to in person. Yeah. So tell me, when you guys decided to leave that sort of a stable job, how did you navigate that process together to whatever the next thing was?
Well, I think that for us, it was something almost we were forced into. So there's some context there, right? We were at another agency. We had a very minor ownership in that agency. We grew that to 350 people. It was incredible. It was so much fun. And we had done a lot of good work there, but it was crazy. Yeah. And we were, I mean, it was like Wolf of Wall Street, if anything, right? It was just total chaos, total fun, a young man's game, so to speak. And we were 3 months away from having our first child.
Okay. And
was like, in that workplace, spouses were not allowed, kids were not allowed. Like, it was crazy. I mean, drugs, alcohol, you name it. It was fun.
Like
it was a party
bull.
house. And so we decided to quit our job 3 months ahead. In exchange for our non-compete, we gave up all of our equity. Okay. Everything, and we were kind of forced, like, all right, well, let's just go do this from the house. Let's make it happen. And we launched Hite from the bedroom of one of our house, and the rest is history.
And we really didn't do it thinking, oh, we're going to build this like Inc. 5000 agency, we're going to do all these things. Like, we really just wanted to be able to provide for our families at that point. And so it was definitely out of a need. And I think that's how a lot of the entrepreneur stories happen, right? Like, hey, we're pushed to do something, and there's no better motivation than my baby's coming and I need to be able to pay for that delivery.
Yeah. You gotta make it work. And then if it doesn't work for somebody and you have ideas how you could make it better, and then they don't appreciate your ideas, or they let you have a go at it, but then they take all the credits. And then it's like, what am I doing here? Like, I might as well just start my own thing, right? That's like the thing about us entrepreneurs. We always see new ideas, and then there's always some of us are like a bit OCD, and we're like, float around with a few ideas at the same time. And I know, like, we had a quick chat before you walked in, and that Karen was saying that you're kind of like that, I'm kind of like that.
Yeah.
And how Karen's keeping you grounded.
Yeah.
She's like the balloon, or I'm the balloon and she's like the string, right? As I'm just floating around in the air and she's holding me down to the ground.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, to be fair though, I would say that working in that agency, I know sometimes we have this sort of like thinking of like they took advantage of me or whatever, like sometimes coming from jobs. I think for us, it was our biggest school. For us, it was a great opportunity to see, how do I want to be treated as an employee? How do I not want to be treated as an employee? What are things that I need to have in my business? And so when we were starting to build ours, we had a big focus on family, because that's something that we enjoyed, and that was not part of their culture, but it was something that we really wanted to have. And that's, one thing that when we were hiring people really enjoy that. We had a nursery in our office when we had an office,
that's
right?
Cool. That's very thoughtful.
And that was an opportunity, because I went into maternity leave, and then I was like, wait, I have to go back. Like, what happens with my kid? Do I see, Olivia, after 8 hours, then I'm going to see her 3 hours maybe. And so we wanted to incorporate or find a way to incorporate family into the business.
I love it. You guys are big on that, on like the fundamental, beliefs and the stuff that you guys do with the charity in Nicaragua.
Yeah.
I see you speaking at Montesano's thing 2 years ago as well, and you guys you seem to be very consistent with that.
I think, at least us growing up, we always heard about balance. You got work over here, you got family over here, and we just believe in integration. Like, we don't separate it at all. And in fact, some of our friends even, you got to find out what's right for you. But when we get home, we don't talk about business. That's home time. Well, like, our life is our business. Like, that's our work. Like, that's what we believe, God put us on earth to do. And so everything for us is just, how do we integrate it as much as possible? The reason I have a basketball goal at my office is, yes, because I enjoy it, but also because my son enjoys it. So it gives him something to do when he's at the office, right? And so how do we create a work culture that we want our family to be a part of in some way, right? It doesn't mean my spouse has to work with me, but in some way they're involved. In some way they're integrated in. And as you do that, I find that maybe balance doesn't have to be balance. It's kind of like I'm working 20 hours, I'm working 60 hours a week on the business, but 15, 20 of that is overlapped with my wife time, right? And 10 of that is overlapped with my kid time, and, so on and so forth. And I think it's been an advantage for us when it comes to competing in the marketplace.
Yeah. I'd be curious to hear from you guys listening, if you're watching this, where you guys are at with your partner. Do you have your partner in the business, or do you not? And is that bad? I don't think it is. But yeah, be curious to see what you guys think, because there's balance in everything, and however you make it work, as long as you make it work and it helps you in all aspects of life, it's great. So check it down in the comments, and let us know.
And I'll give a little project that you could do. Let's say your spouse is not involved at all in the business. Okay, I get this with people all the time. They're like, oh, JC, I'm terrible at sales, or my pitch, or my offer, and is it connecting? Is it relaying? Your spouse, especially if they're not involved in the business, is the perfect person to test your offer on. Okay, honey, sit down. I'm going to explain to you what I do. And if she's completely lost, like, wait, what just happened? What are you going to do? Like, how? Okay, we need to simplify our offer more. We need to do it better, right?
That's
interesting. And so
because
there's so many ways to integrate them into it.
No, like it makes a little sense, but like sometimes I spoke to my wife about something and like she just doesn't get it. And like, you just don't get it. And your ego gets in the way. And I need to speak to somebody who is in the business or something. But actually, that's just the ego talking, really.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. And so, like, if you're dealing with roofers, chances are they don't know what you're talking about either. They don't know anything about SEO or PPC or Facebook ads. They don't understand.
High level, yeah.
Yeah, sometimes they do, but a lot of times they don't. And we even when you're writing, CNN and Fox, we need to write at a 5th grade reading level. That's our goal. Same thing in business. We overcomplicate it too often.
Yeah. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about the agency stuff that you guys do.
Yeah.
So you decided, okay, this wasn't for us. We really have different values. This is a bit of a chaos. And I was like, I used to work for an agency and they said to me, embrace the chaos. I'm like, that's not me. Like, I can't embrace the chaos, dude. Like, it's shit's got to be systemized. That's where, that's where the profit's at. Otherwise you got leakage anyway. So I'm not a fan of, so I can relate is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So you decided to start your own thing just to sort of, support yourself. You were about to be a mom.
Yeah.
And so that all it kind of like just makes sense. But you obviously didn't just stay there. You could have stayed small. It could have been profitable small little agency.
Yeah.
So what drives you to make it to such a massive agency that is at 2020? And for those of you guys listening, I probably didn't do enough justice in the intro, but 22, 23, 24, Inc. 5000.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
three out of the last 5 years.
Yeah, it's brilliant. What do you guys realize that this probably could be something bigger than like, yeah.
You'll be answering. Okay, so, it's funny. Like Karen said at the beginning, we never were like, we're going to create the fastest growing company. Now, we came from that world. The company we were at before, we were the heads of that company.
Okay.
And we were Inc. 5000 5 out of 7 years. So we knew growth, right? So don't get me wrong. And this is where Karen was saying, right? Reading the book, John Acuff wrote a book called Quitter. I love that book. You can do it in the comments, but it's all about like your day job and learning from it. The reason we propelled so much, and I think so many agencies get this wrong, when we're wanting to hire in our world, and I have a lot of friends that are in the VA world, so this isn't a knock, right? I love them all. But when we go and hire VAs, a lot of times what we're doing is we're just trying to hire cheap labor somewhere in the world. And okay, they got PPC experience, so sure, let me just hire. We're very quick to hire. We are very slow to hire, and we try to find the best people we possibly can. And especially in the beginning. So our first hire was a pay-per-click guy that I knew that worked in an agency that I knew, and he had been there 7 years working at that agency.
Okay.
When you're hiring, when you're recruiting, someone has to be the expert. Okay.
Yeah.
So either I've got to.
You got to validate that
Exactly.
they're not a bullshitter. Yeah.
Exactly. So I either got to know that you're the expert, or I've got to be an expert so much that I can make sure you're doing your job right.
Yeah.
This is where people fail miserably. I don't know anything about Facebook ads, so let me go hire someone. Oh, you've been in it 6 months, or oh, you have a somewhat of a resume, or oh, you kind of know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Let me hire you. And no one ends up knowing what they're doing. If you don't know what you're doing, you have to find ridiculous proof to show that they absolutely know what they're doing.
And it doesn't mean that you have to be like really expert about it, but you have to have some understanding of it so that you can relate and you can.
Yeah, you hire a coach for $15,000, and man, I want all your reviews. I want testimonials. I want 3 or 4 references. I want this, and this. I have 3 calls. I wait on the buy. I pause. I don't sign up, and then we take that long of a time to hire a coach. But yet, paying someone $1,000, $2,000 a month, we hire them after 1 call, and so. This has been our key from day one. How do and that's probably the biggest part of my job is recruiting and finding the best talent I possibly can and bringing them into this mission that we have.
And to add to that, I think a lot of the times when you're first getting started, there is this, I think, scarcity mindset where we're thinking oh, let me pay somebody a little bit so I can build my profits and then be able to find the right talent. If you focus more on investing in those people, and I struggle with that. I remember hiring one of our BPs, and JC was like, we have to hire this person, and we have to invest it, and this is how much we're going to pay in salary. And we were not even making that money ourselves, for our own salary.
To go into that.
So we were paying more for this person that had years of experience. And I remember my growing up, I think through this journey, you mentally gain so much knowledge. You become wiser as you go through it. But I remember I was the one saying, like, let's not do that. We need to save money. We need to, like, build our profits. We need to, like, do X, Y, Z. And JC was the one like, no, you're looking at this wrong. We need to invest so that way we can get further than just, like, making whatever amount of dollars that we're
And to
thinking.
clarify, to this day, I've never been the highest paid person in the company. Never. Not once. To this day, we have another person that's matched my salary and a couple more right behind me.
Obviously, you're not doing it for the money. Just for the money.
Okay, so both sides of that same coin.
Okay.
You're right. I'm not. Like, I'm these are the same jeans I had 2 years ago. My underwear has holes in it, right? Like, I'm really not a big money guy. With that being said, the only way to build money and build wealth, I believe, is surrounding yourself, paying whatever you can to surround yourself with the best people. That's your mentors. That's also the team working beside you, under you, and above you in the organization.
And I love
There's
it.
nothing. I mean, we always are spending money on surrounding ourselves with the best people.
I will say in the beginning, though, we had needs that we needed to meet. So we were doing it for the money, right? Like, we need to, like, be able to pay for this delivery of the baby. Like, it's not for the mission. Like, we need to do that. But I remember having this conversation. We were driving, and there's a point where your basic needs are met as a business owner. Like, yes, you can always have a better car. You can always have, a better house or whatever. But, like, there's a point where, like, that is a good to have, not a must have, right? Like, we needed to have our delivery of our baby. And I remember, like, once we had all the basic needs met, I was asking, I think we were just in a car having this conversation of, like, what is next, for us? Like, what are we shooting for? Like, we already are in a good place. And that's where, for entrepreneurs, like, that's where you really find your mission, after your basic needs are met in your life. And I think you have to be very discerning with, like, what are your basic needs. I think some people think of basic needs something that is not, and you're lying to yourself. And so that's why you create this financial problems for your life.
Yeah.
But once your once your basic needs are met, like, that's when I think, like, the real mission starts to kick in, because now you're not doing it for the money. Now you could live like this forever. And I think for us, especially living in Nicaragua, we saw the difference in lifestyles. We were not in the US trying to, like, keep up with the Joneses. Like, we were in Nicaragua where, like, in the stoplight, there's kids asking for money, to eat.
Do you want to wash the windows or
I have a lady coming in that I know about all of her family struggles, so, like, how can you, I don't know. I think that was really helpful for us in business, and it kept us grounded to live in a place where it wasn't all amazing.
Just to be clear, we lived at Billionaire Row on a beach beside the owner of GoPro with a 6-bedroom house and a swimming pool, infinity pool on a pro golf course.
We were able to see the
Just
difference.
so we're clear, it was just cheap. I mean, let's don't go. Just for the record, if someone sees pictures, they're gonna be like, but it was in Nicaragua, so it was a lot cheaper, right?
Yeah.
And so, and I think that's the point. So, like, that was a big focus of us, was finding the best people we could and doing whatever it took to get them on the bus. And I mean, I recruited. I mean, I looked for people at successful companies and tried to take them. Rarely did we ever hire someone that wasn't working. In fact, I haven't gotten this number in the last, like, year or so, but there for a while I was collecting it. You had to apply 2.7 times at Hite to get a job there. Like on average, 2.7 times to different jobs.
You've engineered that process on purpose that way.
No, it was hard to get in. And like, we were so good on referrals and bringing people in, and me going to, like, our head of data was the head of data for one of the largest banks in the country. We just were always bringing in recruiting talent.
Yeah.
And by the way, it was like, I'm also a big fan of, like, great people will give you an ROI. So we would hire a lot of people that, like, we didn't have a job necessarily for. It was just like, man, this person's hella good at sales. We're just gonna have them sell something, or they're really good at communications, they're really good at partnerships, they're really good at whatever, and we found them a spot.
I'm not good with managing people, so I'm curious, like, how do you, like, I get this point, like, where investing in people, that gives you leverage, and you're working with smarter people than even you are, and that's, like, that's meant to be, right? Because then that's how you, like, grow and everything. But have you always found it easy?
What do you mean by that? What do you mean you're not good at managing people?
like the leadership aspect, just because for a long time I've been working by myself, and I'm just so like, perfectionist, and I can do really good stuff, and so I can be really hard on myself. So I've got like you set those standards for yourself, and then you hire somebody, and and then I don't know how to like sometimes just a bit harsh, like, hey, can't you just like do it better? Or it's something I just navigate in still. It's a process, right? I'm trying to be better, like how you do it, just be more compassionate, but I think I don't think it's a thing that you necessarily have to get better at. It's also could be that you just get somebody else who's good at managing the people.
Well, okay. So this is a good subject. This is actually a fun subject for me. In fact, so we do primarily like consulting and investing now, and we're buying a very large company right now solely focused on this topic. So we can talk about it off camera. The key here, one is like as there's leadership and there's management. Those are two different things, right? Now, ideally, in terms of just the tactical leadership and management, I'm trying to hire people I don't need to manage, right? And there's a big difference between hiring top of the class. So again, going back to this like US LATAM, for example, outsourcing, where a lot of people do is they go, oh, I could find a beginner salesperson in the US for $50,000. But man, I could go to Nicaragua and find a beginner salesperson for $12,000 a year. Like that's what they do. What I do,
is that enough money for those people?
You can find someone. You can find someone. To give you an idea, in like the Philippines, people that work for call centers, like for Walmart and things like that, they're making $600 a month. So you can find someone. Now, what I do is I go, well, I can find a basic person in the US for $50,000. What could I get in Nicaragua for $50,000? Well, I get an advanced. Okay. That is that's how we've always done it. So like in Nicaragua, our average salary right now today is like just above $36,000 a year, which in the US, especially middle America, like I'm at in Arkansas, like that's what teachers make. That's what firefighters make. Like it's not terrible. Okay. Yeah. So going back, so you have managers and leaders, but then we get into this like tactical. What I have found is that I've got to hire the people that match me. So for example, there's a lot of different things with this. Number one is like how you show appreciation. Okay. So we all have you ever heard of the book, The 5 Love Languages by Dr. Chapman?
I've heard about it. I never.
Okay. You got to read it. Yeah. You got to read it. Your wife will appreciate it if you read this book.
She's the one who told me about it. Yeah.
Okay. But as people, we have also languages of appreciation. Yeah. One of the biggest reasons why people leave is actually in today's generation, it's not because of their leadership, it's actually peers and leaders and the appreciation that they're given. Okay? Now, bear with me. We receive appreciation in different ways. So for example, it may be gifts for you, right? If I bring you a Hite mug or a Hite hat, you're like, dude, this is the best thing in the world.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Or it may be that, man, Vit, dude, I appreciate you like bringing us in for that podcast. That was so thoughtful. That was amazing. And those words that you hear, words of affirmation, mean more to you, right? Or it could be one of the other three. As leaders, we have a natural way of showing appreciation. So for me, it's not words. I'm not a words guy. Like I am with my daughter and somewhat with Karen, but I'm not with anyone else. Yeah. Well, I had an assistant not too long ago that her appreciation language was words of affirmation. Okay. Like she wanted to hear it. I could pay her nothing, but if I told her every day how much I appreciated her, she was happy as a June bug. The problem is that I didn't.
You didn't know until later.
Well, I didn't, I'm not a words guy. Like I didn't do it. And so she was always felt like I didn't appreciate her as much. And I would give her raises. I would promote her. I would push her. I would bring her to events. I would bring her to other countries. Every one of my languages, I would show. And so when it comes to like leading people and actually not talking about managerial leading, but connecting and empowering your leaders, right? This is one of the first things we look at is like, what is my personality traits and how do I show appreciation? And how, if I show appreciation in the same way that you receive it, it's gonna be a lot better. I mean, and you've probably seen this within your teams. There's certain people you're just clicking with. And Karen says that in that regard, she says that some of us are bonsais and some of us are cactuses. Okay. Right? So cactuses, you don't need a lot of love and attention. They just kind of do their own thing and they grow and survive. Bonsais, you got to water them every day. You got to be meticulous. Those relationships will die if you don't, water them. So in your case, can you find a COO or another manager that's going to help you execute? 100%. But those guys are expensive. There was a time we were a lot more successful focusing the most of our money on middle level management, my pod leaders, my best engineers, my best whatever, and helping, and then me and leading them, than spending our money on that second tier leadership, the COO or the chief director.
That's when it creates that disconnect, right?
Well, it's getting disconnected, and it's expensive. Like, it's really expensive to hire a top tier director or VP. And I'm talking about the real sense, not giving someone a title that doesn't deserve it, but like, it's really expensive. That story
with Steve Jobs. So he wrote that CEO guy, and then
That's right.
He goes,
that's right. So I'm investing when I'm starting, and you can get to about $1 million in revenue with 7 or 8 good people. I want that bottom layer to be as best as freaking possible.
You may not realize this, but for the last 2 years, I've had a secret weapon that has made running my business inside of HighLevel so much easier. You see, there is so much that HighLevel can do, which is amazing, but it's a lot of work to stay up to date with it. And even more so if my customers are asking me questions about it. And this is why I'm excited to announce that our show is officially part of the HLPT Creator Network. This is HighLevel Pro Tools, an organization that I've been using to run support for my customers, as well as give me a ton of awesome epic add-ons that make running, launching, and differentiating my SaaS inside of HighLevel so much easier. And now that they're an official sponsor of the show, they've done something pretty bloody awesome. If you go to hlpt.com/experience, you can get one of their incredible tools absolutely for free. No purchase necessary, just for being a listener on the show. So head over to hlpt.com/experience, grab that free tool, and I promise you this is going to improve the conversion rates on your page. Check out all the other stuff that they offer and tell them that Pete sent you.
You know what's wild? There's a smarter way to grow your agency and help more local businesses without adding more stress. That's what HighLevel does. It's your all-in-one sales, marketing, automation, and AI system. No more duct taping tools together or paying for 20 different subscriptions that barely talk to each other. I've been using it for 5 years with my own white-level version, stand out from the pack, helping Aussie businesses like Dimitri, a Canberra electrician, who now runs his jobs, quotes, calls, and follow-ups with our built-in AI employee. If you're an agency, HighLevel lets you do exactly that. Support your clients in new ways while building stable, recurring revenue every month. And if you're a local business, partner up with somebody who knows your market and your industry. If you're in Tasmania, my mate Jared from Boulder Digital, for example, has you covered. If you're in Canberra, that's my turf. Check out standoutfromthepack.com.au and we'll get you sorted. The point is, there's probably a high-level agency or SaaSpreneur near you. We're seasoned marketers, tech-savvy super nerds who love helping local businesses grow. We're global, we're connected, we're high-levelers. Now, I've got something really special for you guys. I've negotiated an exclusive 30-day HighLevel trial that's double the usual just for you. Sign up your agency through gohighlevel.com/vid or upgrade your existing plan, and I'll hook you up with over $3,200 worth of bonuses, resources, templates, and snapshots I normally give to my private clients only. So whether you're scaling an agency or leveling up your business, start with the right system. gohighlevel.com/vid or team up with your local SaaSpreneur and let's make business simple again. One platform, one login, no duct tape, just results.
Okay. Now, we have a lot of small high-levelers listening as well. You know, people who are just starting out, and we all want to make it work.
Yeah.
So that's running solo for a while until you get to that point.
And it's the same thing with this, right? So who are the best high-level? Like the big guys, the guys that understand capitalism. Like if I were you and I was starting off on HighLevel, I would be attacking my buddies over at HL Pro Tools. These guys have a great team. Yeah. Fantastic team. A large team.
Shout out to HL Pro Tools, one of our new sponsors.
We love HL Pro Tools. Okay? So I'm gonna mess with Graham here, but like I'd be looking at their team. I'd be going, who's in the bottom layer there that doesn't have an opportunity for growth that I could pull over from HL Pro Tools to hire?
Okay.
Right? No, this sounds good friends with Matt. We're partners on a bit. Love them. I'm giving them as an example because I respect them so much because they understand the beauty of capitalism,
again,
right?
It sounds like poaching, but like if I'm not saying HL Pros, like in any company.
In any company.
If there's somebody who's not getting that.
Forget these guys. Beyond. We're gonna go after Beyond's the team. You know, like but that was my strategy. Is I'm not taking people from. I'm not taking people from agencies that I love, but I'm going after those companies that I have a respect for, but not a great connection to. Okay. And I'm going, what are the team members that they have, and how can I pull them with some type of opportunity? So as young guys, you got to make sure you're getting the best of the best. And somebody that's worked at those companies for 2 or 3 years is going to be way more valuable than getting someone off of some virtual assisted deal or some, random workplace deal of someone that's looking for a job.
Something there that I think it's key when we're talking about poaching, because, a lot of people, like that concept, we get employees taken from our company all the time. It happens. The thing that we need to focus there is like, why am I not building enough? Like the question should be for us as business owners. Why do they even want to leave? I'm not afraid. I'm not upset at somebody, an agency that's taking our employee, because that is more of a question for us of like, what should I have done better for that teammate, or what could I have done better for my company to be able to retain that person?
Well, leaving.
Would you disagree?
Leaving is a natural part of employment. Rarely do people stay forever. And so I don't have any frustration with someone acquiring one of my team members, right? Like, I don't see it as it sucks sometimes, don't get me wrong, but I'm also taking team members as well, right? We're all moving the chessboards around, and sometimes it's really what's best for the team members. Like, I've had team members that I love that are great human beings, and somehow they just got stuck at Hite. I have team members right now that are so good it's not even funny, but they have a boss that's never going anywhere, and we're not going to grow the department much more. So the only way they could scale is either switch what they do at Hite or go somewhere else. Like, it's if we create a culture of growing people, sometimes growing people is them moving away. Now, the reason I mentioned Graham and Matt is because I know these guys, and I know that they care so much about their people. Yeah. And if someone else gave one of their amazing team members a great opportunity, they're not going to be mad at that one. They're just not that type of people.
Everybody's on their journey.
Everyone's on their journey. The point is when you're small, please hear that. When you're small, spending a little bit of extra cash for a guarantee that they're coming from a great place is going to pay leaps and bounds dividends when it comes to growth in your first year or two, getting to that first $1 million.
And is that because they already have the experience, you don't have to train them and stuff, or?
Exactly. They know what it's like to go build what you're building. They know what the processes look like. They know what the expectations are. They know what it took to scale and grow. They have so many of the things already drilled in them that I don't have as a young guy, right? Like we're going to keep hitting this, like a dead horse, but like, I want people that have done what I'm trying to do at whatever level that is. We had a girl that worked directly under me, love her to death. She's like a sister to me. Been with us for 5 years and absolutely crushed it. She helped me sell what we sell. And another company offered her stupid money. Like 4X what I was paying, all right? Like literally 4X. Yeah. And they probably couldn't have gotten her for cheaper than that, to be honest with you. And I was so excited for her to go take that job because what they saw is exactly what I'm teaching. Because they knew that if she could come over and execute even 50% of what she did with me, it would 10X pay for itself.
So if we know that's okay, right? Letting people go and just being happy for them, right? Yeah. That's kind of like just not being selfish and like what comes around goes around kind of thing. But then at the same time, that leaves a bit of a hole in your business, or could. So how do you prepare for that? How do you structure your business so that it doesn't create a huge amount of impact? That will always be something.
Okay, so now we're talking about the other end. If someone leaves me, okay, let's do this in a couple ways. One's a strategy that we learned, right? Man, I love these. We all have these. Hopefully everyone listening has had these moments where they're just like, aha, like, that's so stupid simple. Like, why have I not been doing this whole time? It's just this like realization moment. So I'll share two things. Number one, it goes back to kind of where we started the conversation. I love my team. Like every dream I have, every goal I have will be fulfilled, not because of my work, but because of theirs. Let's just get that really real. And the moment you truly believe that, then it's not, oh, JC is going to crush it at business and build something big. And so therefore we're like, no, like my CEO, my CMO, like all my leadership team, like they are the ones that's going to pay for my kids' college. Let's be really honest. The moment you start to realize this, so the two things. Number one, I love all my team so much. I want to get to know them. I want to get to know who they are. I want to get to know their kids' names. I want to learn their language of appreciation. How do I show appreciation to them and just do as much as I can?
How big is your team?
We're right at 100 team members right now. Little under 100 team members right now.
It's a lot of people to love.
It's a lot of people to love, and it gets more and more complicated, right?
That's like another good topic.
That's a whole another conversation we could talk about. But you can do it in every conversation, being present in conversation, asking questions, be inquisitive. There's a ton of things there. So that's the first thing as leaders. I can know pretty quick your turnover rate by asking you about your team. And if you don't know anything about your team, you don't know their marriage or their kids or like any of the intimate details, I can probably guess that you're going to have a very high turnover. Okay. So then the second thing is that we will have turnover. That's just part of it. It's a natural part of people's growth. It's not something to be frustrated about. Yeah. So we're talking about human beings, right? Leaving our organization. It's a very natural part. We shouldn't get frustrated. We shouldn't get mad. We shouldn't get disappointed. Like if when you and I were working for companies and we had a better opportunity, we left. Like it wasn't necessarily anything bad. It's just people get dramatic. You shouldn't get dramatic. The question is, how do we prepare for it? So I had this realization talking with our HR people where we had 2 people in one role leave at once. We're like, what do we do? What does this look like? In professional sports, they do it the right way. So you think of like the Patriots when they had Tom Brady. You think like, we got Tom Brady. We're not looking at any quarterback ever. No. They were always looking at other quarterbacks. They were always looking at talent. They were always interviewing. They were always looking at data. They were always, why? Because you never know when someone's going to leave, get hurt, retire, or anything in between.
Contingents.
Now, does that mean they were hiring all those other guys? No. Doesn't mean they were hiring them. It means they were looking. So what if your agency, you have a small SaaS company, and you got 1 or 2 people. You don't need anybody else, but we're recruiting. So we're always talking to talent. I'm always dropping those conversations on LinkedIn. Man, dude, I saw you're doing some great work over there at HL Pro Tools. That's incredible. You're doing great work over wherever. Like, just so you know, we're hiring sometimes. I don't have anything right now, but if you know of anyone, let me know. I'm always in recruiting mode, and I'm building this waiting line. So at Hite, what our goal is for HR, there are salespeople, but for humans. They're selling human beings into our company. Like that's what their goal is. And so every month, what's your pipeline? Oh, well, I've got these 2 pay-per-click people. I got these 2 SEO people. I got these 2 account managers. They're approved, resumes, video of awesomeness, everything is done. And then all they do is my HR every month. Hey, that you're still interested in coming to work with us, right? That's awesome, man. Well, we don't have the job just quite ready yet, but you're at the top of my list. I'm going to let you know as soon as we have something. Now, that's possible because we're recruiting people that have jobs.
Okay.
We're not hiring people that don't have jobs.
Approaching it like a sales process.
There you go. I mean, there's literally a pipeline in HighLevel that's like, these are my guys. They're approved and waiting.
And you guys are a full service agency. Hite Digital is full service.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. But even if you're not, right, you have these key roles in every role. I mean, every role in the company, if you're doing really good stuff, but most of us can't, afford that. But these critical roles, like if Bob left, I don't know who would do his work. All right, well, you better have someone in the waiting line.
Yeah.
Because guess what? This is cool. If you grow, you have a replacement or you have a secondary. Right. And if you lose someone, you have a secondary. Like you're going to need someone eventually.
I was going to say, like, it probably makes sense, like, bigger you are, it's easier to manage those drop-offs because you have other people in the same roles.
And that's right. The bigger you are,
like
you can hide
clients
it, right?
And retainer for ads, and you don't have anybody done ads, then that's
I've got 10 pay-per-click people, 1 leaves. I can spread those 30 clients, and everyone gets 2 more, right? It's not a big deal for me. Yeah. But the smaller you are, the more, and even like when you have critical roles where, man, I've got 1 director of sales. All right, who's my next person? If this person dies, who's my next person? Now, Mike Michalowicz has been to our event several times. He's got a strategy that...
Is that the guy who wrote the book Life in Half a Second?
No, he worked Profit First. He worked Clockwork and a few of those others.
Okay, thinking of somebody else.
So, incredibly smart guy. He's here speaking on day 3. Yep, right. Level of some. He's spoke at our last event. Great guy. He's got a strategy, and I really like it. But it's hard, especially for bigger companies, I think. He forces every single manager in the company and key role, like every person in this company, is forced to take a 4-week vacation. Not separate. One time, like 4 weeks in a row every year. A 4-week. Why does he do that? Because it stress tests everything. And he's like, you learn every...
Not all at the same time. Different.
No, at different times. And so what it forces him to do is every process documented. Can I figure this out without this person? If this person died or left or quit, is everything... I like that a lot. And so as smaller companies, that's a really interesting thing. Is it hard? Yes, it's hard. Does it suck? He's like, absolutely it sucks. But it sucks more not being prepared if someone really left.
Yeah.
And so So these two strategies here. One is always be recruiting. Your HR team or you as a CEO should always be selling and always be recruiting. And number two, how are you stress testing? If someone was out for, let's just do it 2 weeks. Have all your team. You get so many weeks of vacation, but you have to take 2 all together and just test it. See what works. See what doesn't work. You'd be surprised how you can manage.
Let's downscale a little bit.
All right.
Let's talk about somebody solo, or maybe they've got 3 people, really small agency. They've just discovered HighLevel and they realize, holy moly, what are we doing? We should have been on this.
Yeah.
Anyway, what would you be, because you guys also have an agency for agencies called.
Yeah. Well, we serve agencies as well.
Yeah.
We've done white label for a while, and then we moved into a franchise model, and now we've been acquiring a lot of those back, doing more direct. But yes, we've had all the models.
So what would be like I don't want to say a blueprint, but you're not gonna think about everything that we've covered so far with the HR and all that if you're really small.
Yeah.
What should you be focusing? And let's just go specific. Let's just go performance marketing agency.
I'm a one-man show. Maybe I have a couple of VAs, or I'm outsourcing white label or something like this.
Maybe even starting of who should be our first hire. A lot of people struggle with that too.
Yeah.
Okay, if I'm doing it, I'm doing the SaaS, I'm selling it, I'm doing the automations, who should be my first?
Do you want to talk about sales, or do we want to talk about hiring?
Just business in general, in SaaS, somebody starts a SaaS business in HighLevel, maybe doing some agency services on the side.
Right.
How do you scale that? How do you grow that?
Okay, good question. I'll do 3 ideas here. You can jump in whenever you want, but this excites me. Okay, so number 1, that first hire is so key. Like I said, the first hire, Gus, was his name. He's still with me today. When I hired him, he was the best pay-per-click person I knew. He worked at another agency for 5 years. He made more money than I did starting off, but I knew that I didn't have to worry about anything with him. So that first hire is so key, but you just need to divide it up. One person's going to be doing the fulfillment of whatever you're doing, and one person's going to be doing the sales. And you have to divide and conquer. I think
those
at that
are the
point.
2 really important. Everything else
Just
later.
I'm going to sell the client and onboard him. Gus, I need you to take care of 100% of everything else. Now, the cool thing when you're small is that there's just not a lot. You just have calls with the client every week and execute on what you're executing. We can simplify that. People overcomplicate things so much when it comes to this stuff. I mean, and oh, by the way, as leaders, we'll always revert back to what we know best. What do I mean by that? If you're an operations person and your struggle is growth, what are you going to go fix? Operations. You're going to, let me make another SOP on this. Does this resonate? If you're good at client experience, you're going to go back and do client, you need to go to sales. That's the only thing you need to do.
Justifies because when I get the client, they're going to get such a gross experience.
That's
they're
right.
going to rave about it, and then I'll have referrals on the back of that.
That's right. Okay, and so with the sales process, and then I'm going to tie this together. So, all right, got my fulfillment guy, Gus or whomever, all right, and I'm hiring someone that I know factually can do what I need them to do. They come from somewhere, they are proven. I know for a fact that they can do this. Now I'm going to do the sales side. Where people mess up here, man, I know it's hard to believe, but I wasn't the most popular guy in college. I landed Karen, but that's a long story. It was really it took me a lot of sales practice to get to this. And so what I would do is I just knew the numbers. Man, I ask out 100 girls, one's going to say yes. It's not rocket science.
It was me.
She was the 100th. And so with sales, what you got to do is you got to create conversations. If you have a good offer and you have a good product, you have to just create conversations. So when I started the business, my rule was 5 people a day. I needed to have conversations with 5 entrepreneurs a day. That's 25 a week. And if I didn't have 25 by Friday, I worked on Saturday, Sunday. Okay. I knew that if I talked to 100 entrepreneurs every single month, there's no way 1 or 2 wouldn't buy from me. There's just not a way. As long as I communicated right, I didn't try to sell them, and I didn't try to sell them. Normally it was a research strategy. Hey, Pete, I'm working with roofers. I'm just getting started. I'm a newbie. I swear, I'm not going to pitch you at all. Student approach, what we call research approach. Can I pick your brain? Can I get some time? And I would literally ask tons of questions. And then maybe I'd be like, well, if I ever could solve that, could we have a conversation? And then every single one of those calls, because every single one of them are high level, can I follow up next month? So now next month, I've got 200 people, 100 new ones, 100 old ones.
Nice.
Next month, 100 more. 100 more. By the time you have a year, here's the cool thing. Within about 2 years, 3 years, because you'll start speeding up on this, you'll have about 1,000 people in rotation. That you're just every 3 months, every 2 months, every 1 month. And what I have a rule in our CRM, in our sales company, every single human being in my CRM has to have a future. What I mean by that, every one of them has to have a task at some point. I don't care if it's a year from now, I don't care if it's 10 years from now, we're following up with that guy at some point. Now, it doesn't mean we're pitching them, it means we're following up. And so
it's touch points, it's tangible.
It's just touch points. That's right.
It's either business you generate with them or business they bring in.
Exactly. So as a salesperson, my goal is to increase my conversations I have with business leaders. That's it. I know that if I'm having 1,000 conversations a year with different business leaders, there's just no way.
Yeah.
Just no way. And I'll serve them. And so like I'm coming up with freebies, I'm giving magazines, I'm sending books, I'm sending ice cream. I'm just, how do I love on those 1,000 people? And I have a guy right now, a young kid, just graduated high school, and he wants me to sign up with his he's offering a YouTube deal, right? I don't even need it. I got someone doing YouTube but every week he'll send me, hey, I just saw your new video you released. I created 2 new thumbnails for you. I think you should test these. And I'm like, man, I don't even have a need for this guy. And I'm about to start giving him money because I can't help. He's just servant. Hey, if there's ever an opportunity, you let me know. And so, okay, now let's tie these together. Here's where most people mess up when it comes to scaling. So what do you do? All right, let's just say you hired your first product guy. That product guy is doing X, Y, and Z, and they can manage 20 clients. 20 clients, that's their max. What do most companies...
That's not a bad number, is it?
No, it's not a bad number. So let's just say, but it's 20. Maybe it's 30, maybe it's 10, doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. What do people do when they get full?
They go into fulfillment.
No, let me ask a different way. What do I do when I'm at capacity? So I hired my fulfillment person. He can manage 20 clients, and he's at 20 clients.
Then you go hire more.
You go hire more.
Yeah.
That's rocket science. It's the wrong move. It's so the wrong move. Okay, so here's we're building a sustainable, scalable business. So let's just dream here. All right,
There's a lot of shift belief here.
I'm selling my first clients. All right, I've got an offer. Let's just say it's a SaaS offer. I'm throwing in Facebook ads, kind of a traditional Facebook ads. They get high level. We'll do some automation. I'm selling that. You know, my goal is $1,000. Let's be honest though. My first clients were 100, then I got 500, and I got 400. I want to look at all 20 of these. So my capacity is 20 clients.
Yeah.
So of that 20 clients, I probably have $10,000 in revenue, right? It's not bad.
Yeah.
So, but I'm at capacity. So natural instinct for everyone is I hire. No. Here's what you're going to do. You're going to go sell your next client at 1,000. You're going to call those bottom 2 and you go, hey, my price is our minimum charge now is $1,000. That's the lowest I can charge. And I'm going to go through every one of my clients until I've gotten to 20,000, maybe even 25,000 in that portfolio. You see,
if in that process a couple of them drop off,
Awesome.
but you crank it up,
exactly.
you get the same money for less work.
And then I get, you know what? I'm on that rhythm. Now everyone's at 25,000. No. It's still not stable enough. You know what? For the next 10, what I'm gonna do is they all have to sign a year contract. And so what I want to get to is, I think of 20 buckets. I got 20 spots to fill. Well, even $1 is better than $0. So I'm selling, man. I want experience. I want referrals. I want reviews. Like I'm filling up all 20 of these spots as soon as possible.
Yeah, create a whole flywheel, maximize.
I want all 20. Yeah. That's right. Now, as soon as I get those 20, now I'm trying to build them up. So now I'm slowly increasing. I'm either, hey, it's $1,000. Maybe it's a 6-month contract. Maybe it's a year contract. Maybe it's, whatever the case may be. Now eventually you get where, man, I've got a really stable portfolio. All 20 of my clients are paying me a really good price. They're all at 1,000 or 15 or 2 or 3 or whatever that freaking number is.
Yeah.
They're all on year contracts. They're all, because we just said 10,000. In theory, if I hired another one and just double what I did, that would only be 20.
Yeah.
Or I could do 20 with just the one person.
20 with a lot of people ringing and asking.
Yeah, there you go.
How's my ad going? Yeah. That's
a lot of people. We want to scale what we want to scale. People often think, well, in scaling, I'll change it and get it healthier. No.
But in the meantime, it's like a heavy ball, tied by a leg.
Ball and chain. That's right. So step 1, we're going to go and find the best counterpart I possibly can find. Now, if I'm a product guy, I'm looking for a sales guy. But if I'm a sales guy, I'm looking for a product guy. I want to sell one or two services that person can fill. I think people, like, oh, I'm going to stack this offer and I'm going to have a web guy over here and a Facebook guy over here and a designer over here and a funnel guy over here. Like, that's too much. I just don't think it's needed. Find a hell of a good guy that can kind of do one or two or three things for 20 different clients. Go find that product guy. You're going to bring him in. You're going to focus on sales. They're going to focus on product, vice versa. And then everything's about getting this 20, maybe it's 30, maybe it's 15, but the most stable foundation you could possibly build. And if you build a stable foundation, everything else is really easy to scale upon.
Because at the end of the day, what really moves the needle is making sure you got good profit there, right?
Oh, yeah. And profits don't get better as you scale. I've never met a company that's more profitable. There may be like, oh, I maximize my team, but like, no, I mean, Apple
This
is
is
way.
where people say, you either stay small and profitable, or you try and dominate. The mess in the middle, it's tricky.
It's they call it Death Valley in the investor world, and every industry has it. But, for our industry, it's like 1 to 3 million. Normally 1 to 3 million makes way less money than million less.
Jeez.
Way less money. Because you're starting to hire bigger people. You got bigger processes. Now your owner isn't selling and involved with clients. I mean, I can name like 4 of our clients at Hite, right? I'm not involved with, and there's a difference between working with employee number 5 or 20 or 50 than the owner. There's less confidence. There's less vision. There's a lot, it's just more complex. And so again, I want to encourage people as you're just getting started, find that one counterpart that's hella good, proven person. Work like crazy between the two. Keep it simple. You can create an offer just with you two. Maybe one more other person if you're just really greedy on it, but like really y'all two. Get your maximum capacity, 20 clients, and then uplift all of those. And you start calling your clients. I'm charging more. Man, I've grown, and I can't fit any more clients. The only way for me to grow is to charge more. Now, the cool thing is hopefully you've been delivering, and that client is, let's be honest. Let's say you're in the roofing industry, one roofing client's worth $7,000. So like, if I charged even an extra $800 a month, that's like one client a year is what the impact is, right? Like normally it's not about, it's about a results problem that you're having in your business.
Yeah, okay.
Not a price point.
Yeah. Oh, this makes a lot of sense. I hope you guys been taking notes because this is some,
All right, I'm done talking.
value bombs being dropped here. Now, you guys have a lot of data. You're working with a lot of agencies. You are helping a lot of businesses. Are you seeing any shift in agency services and what's being like less in demand? AIs out there. HighLevel now has the ad manager, which makes it really easy to spin up easy ads for small businesses. That's oftentimes enough.
Yeah.
There's a lot of movement happening. And I've got like this feeling like potentially even the agency services are at risk because this stuff is becoming even easier.
Yeah.
UI, UX, just really easy to implement by business owners. Like one of the shifts that I've done recently is moved more towards an educational business. So we do weekly workshops and we're trying to give the money back to the business. Like, hey, you got a small business, probably got a couple of people, admin people, that are a little bit savvy and they just need a bit of an education. Just invite them to our workshop. Next week, we're going to be teaching about, how to modify the AI bot, so that your website can convert more people and things like that. And that's kind of like, I've made that decision. I don't know if it's the right decision. Time will tell. But it was just, just a bit of a gut feel. And also, I'm trying to make it more scalable. I'm trying to, back to purpose, right? I've got a 5-year-old, or soon to be 5-year-old. I've been working my ass off for the last 5 years, and he's grown. He's now 5. I'm like, wow, you blink an eye, and so I'm changing a few things. I'm like, I want to build a business that's not based on fulfillment. I want to build it based on helping everybody, but do it in a way that's super scalable.
Yeah.
Back to my initial question is, what's that shift? What are you seeing in terms of agency services? Where's the shift going?
We just had an event this year focused on this specifically because with everything with AI, I think a lot of agencies, especially with news coming, like Facebook was saying, hey, we're literally building this in order to not have to work through agencies. Because what's the biggest problem that these platforms have is that, they have a bad experience with an agency owner, so they stop spending money. So Facebook is like, man, like we need to make it easy enough for these business owners, or Google, easy enough for these business owners to want to spend as much money as possible with us and not have that interim, that middle man.
This is like, you see those ads, not even Google stand do. That's that lady. She's got like the ball to cut around, and she's like, what is that? It's like really like a simple business owner showing how cool it is and easy it is to spin up ads. So
Yeah.
that's right.
Exactly. So what's the biggest thing that I think as agencies, when we were talking about in the event, we were talking about what is the new agency model, and not because we have a specific framework, but because we have to be asking this question. Like we have to ask ourselves this question.
Especially if you guys are that big, that's an even bigger risk.
Exactly. Ooh, 100%. It's a lot easier for a little boat to change direction than a cruise line, right? And so I feel like this is the time where like you have a cruise line where like, oh, there's a leak, because now we're like not getting as many clients, whatever that may be. For us, I think something that came out of this event and what we've been thinking about, it's like, how do we add value to people? At the end of the day, money's not going to go away, right? Like it's always going to be present. It's like constantly like flowing everywhere. But how can we position ourselves and our brand and our authority in a way where it doesn't matter what we sell today. Today we sell HighLevel. Tomorrow we sell something else, right? Like brand is so important. And I think what you're talking about in terms of like always giving and educating people is the best way to build that brand because they trust you. Then they're not expecting to like, oh, I'm going to get the result until after I spend money. No, I'm already getting a result. What could I get if I even spend a little bit of money in this person, right? And so I think we have been changing maybe we could talk about our own strategy of what we have been thinking about, doing, and maybe that inspires other people. A lot of education, we're doing heavy on events, and maybe we can talk about the event that we have.
Well, let me go back a little bit to answer the question even further on what we discovered. So the first thing I would do if I'm an agency is I do research. I love learning. And so what I did was it's not rocket science. I had a 2.1 GPA from Arkansas, right? So not the smartest guy in the world. And I just did a survey and I asked all my agency friends, I said, here's the different packages that agencies do in the world. So, Facebook, PPC package for $2,500, website builds for this, website builds for that, cheap Facebook ads. Like I get the whole list. And then I asked all my agency friends, like, what do you think we will be able to sell 5 years from now? And what do you think we won't? Everyone's pretty like that. We don't believe we're going to be able to sell pay-per-click only or Facebook only
SEO.
or any other type of this stuff. We think SEO is a little scary for us. We all believe in the CMO or Chief Growth Officer, like Fractional Growth Officer. And we all believe in the minor. So everything pushed to either, and I'm going to say race to the bottom, race to the top. That's not what I mean, because that's a negative indication. Like everything's going to go, can you provide a lot for a really affordable price? Or can you provide a lot for a really large price, but be involved in every aspect? So we're leaning to two ways. So one is a SaaS offer. We're all wearing the high level stuff, right?
Yeah.
And so one's our SaaS offer, and where we've got a growth plan for agencies starting at $197 a month, and it goes up from there. And we're trying to elevate these guys. Founder of HighLevel, walking behind us, and Wavin distracted me, and we're increasing them, right? And then there's this like $7,000 to $10,000 package where we're getting really involved, where we're measuring analytics.
Working with agencies now?
That's right.
This is
So
working with
we
business owners
believe
directly, 'cause now we're direct.
this is what agencies will offer to clients.
Oh, okay.
It's either going to go really low, $197, $297, $397 a month, or it's going to go really high. I think that middle ground is going to be what's
It's going to
hard.
disappear.
I think so.
It makes a lot of sense because you got technology now that it can do so much, and it's not yet been fully capitalized.
Well, the thing is that the playing field has been levelized.
The entry point
5 years ago, 5 years ago, there was 20 people in the world who had a CRM. There's Salesforce, there was HubSpot, there was Entreport, and everything else. That's why those guys charge ridiculous amounts of money. Well, now there's 1,500 people here at this event that all have a CRM, that they're all willing to sell low. So anytime you have this, the price is just a race to the bottom. It's just a natural part of life, right? Like it's just readily available, so it's cheap to get. And so, but that's okay. There's still money to be made in that 97, 197, 297 arena. That's for sure. There's opportunity. Then the flip side is strategy, right? We're going heavy in this, but we're only going to take on, let's say, 20 clients, $10,000 a month. We're full on strategy. We're coaching them through it. We're gonna, Facebook will be automated at some point. SEO will be automated. There you go. That's right.
That's the investing part of it.
That's right.
Makes a lot of sense, yeah. Brilliant. How long you guys been using HighLevel?
5, 6 years. I mean, long enough that Sean sold me on it.
Sean was actually our first speaker in our mastermind when we started our mastermind back in the day.
That was like 6 years ago, 5 years ago.
Sean
Yeah.
and Paulson were the first, our
First ever speakers.
Like, yeah.
And they didn't have much back then.
Yeah.
They were maybe like
agree.
20 team members or so.
Yeah, it was crazy.
I had Sean on the podcast, my old podcast, which wasn't even a high-level podcast, called Success Inspired Podcast. And that was like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
He was talking about the Invoice Sherpa and how he had that business. And
Yeah.
it's actually, I haven't watched the episode. Okay. So what about high level initially grabbed your attention?
Maybe I can answer. So my background was implementing Salesforce for businesses in US and Latin America. We actually, at the previous agency that we were in, I was part of the transition from HubSpot to Salesforce back in the day.
Okay. Wow.
So that was 300 something people, transitioning all the systems into the CRM. So I went through that.
Sounds painful.
It was, I enjoy it. Like I love automations and systems and operations. I'm the integrator between us two. So like I was fully, I had I drank that Kool-Aid of Salesforce and I was like, I love this. Like Salesforce is the best. And then I remember you ran into, was it David or David and Murillo. And you guys started talking and I was pregnant with my second child. And so I was like, you know what? Like it's time to slow down a little bit, like maybe take something like a little bit easier. I never slow down, like thinking that was going to be the case.
Yeah.
And JC was like, hey, you should learn about the CRM. I mean, CRM, so you should look into it. And I remember talking to David and I remember like looking and playing with it. And I'm like, wait, like you're not charging per users? Like you have unlimited users and it allows you to text and it allows you to like send messages. We were paying thousands of dollars.
$250,000 a year. I mean, more than that. I mean, it was a ridiculous amount of money on Salesforce.
For our own agency. And I was charging hundreds of thousands of dollars just for implementation for Salesforce for businesses, right? And this is not development necessarily. This is like admin work. So I started looking into that and I was like, this is insane. Probably not going to function for too long. Like there's just no way that you can make money out of this. And you start at like 197, like what is this? But surely enough, we were, hey, you know what? We have an agency and we started implementing HighLevel for other agencies as well, creating their processes and helping them navigate. Because a lot of this stuff, like it's not the automation. I was talking earlier with somebody. It's like, it's not the automations, it's the business strategy that you can implement.
How do you set your plans? How do you... Yeah.
Exactly. How do you leverage this like features and actually make something that helps, a business owner just like save time and money and like make them enjoy it, right? And
especially if they're going to be using it, the adoption is one of the most critical
user
things.
adoption is 100%. Like you can build, and I experienced that in Salesforce. We could spend hours and thousands of hours with people if we didn't have people really taking on like the buy-in of the process, new processes.
Not logging in. Yeah.
Exactly. Then nothing happens, right? And so that's how we learn about HighLevel. And since then, we're like that's amazing. And we've used it for our events. We've used it for our mastermind. We've implemented for people. And honestly, I don't see it going away ever. I mean, it's
if I was
crazy.
Salesforce HubSpot, I'd be very, very worried.
I would be very worried. It's just, it's crazy. I and I applaud this guys, not only because of the business side, but you see them, it's 3 partners, and they're solid people.
Super humble, all 3 of them.
Super humble. Yeah, I think that's the biggest draw that we all have to the brand that they have built.
And we're like, we've known Brian Halligan, founder of HubSpot, Landon Ray, founder of Entrepreneur. Like we've been in the community. Like they're all great guys, but these guys have something really special going on. And by the way, everything I just mentioned, they're in that same boat. What do they focus on? They focus on hiring the best friggin' people they can possibly find in every category. They've done that from the beginning. They weigh so far in on their community, right, which is their salespeople, and they're implementing all this stuff, at a very, very high, and they're loving on their team, doing as much as they can for their team.
Yeah. The guy with Salesforce is interesting. I watched a little interview. I never seen him before, but he had a bit of an interesting journey how he got it off the ground as well.
Yeah.
It's an interesting one. Awesome. I want to plug a couple of things that you guys do, because what you do for the community, what you offer, it's unique, it's special. You've got a couple of events. You're doing the Commitment Summit, and you're also doing the
Stability.
Scale and Stability Summit. So can you give us a bit of a rundown?
Yeah.
What's the distinction? Who is it for?
Yeah.
How do they find it?
Yeah. Okay.
Cool.
Yeah. So everything we do is about helping people what we call scale with stability, right? Like we've scaled ridiculously fast. A couple of companies now, Inc. 5000 list all together with both, 10, 11 times, right? But it's not always fun. In fact, sometimes it sucks. And I'll never forget Karen coming home to me. Actually, I don't remember, but with the shower, fully naked, passed out. I had a panic attack, and I was in there for hours. And I ended up in the hospital for days because I was struggling with anxiety. And that set us on a crazy path. And since then, we've been dedicated. Like, how do we help the CEOs manage this stuff? And we
That's a real thing.
It's real, and so it's both like technical support, like what we're doing here, what you're doing. It's marriage support, and it's faith support. And how do we bring all this together? So everything we do is around helping entrepreneurs, what we call scale with stability. How do we grow the right way without forsaking the things we actually care about?
Yeah.
And so we do that. I mean, everything we have is free online. We teach. We don't gate literally anything, but we invite people to come to our events. That's when we connect with other people's wanting to do with that.
That's
we have
like a middle of the funnel offer, if you wish.
Well, and even then, but yeah, it's middle bottom-ish of the funnel. Yeah, because we don't have a lot of offers nowadays. We have our inner circle committed mastermind, but we max it out at 40 people.
Yeah.
It's not always available, so to speak, for other folks. So we have Scale with Stability Summit. That is in the U.S. About 1,000 people come to that. We open up tickets on Black Friday. We'll have the link here in the comments. And this is John Maxwell is coming. We've got the founder of the TV show The Chosen. We got the founder of Annie Ann's coming, which is an incredible story. Christy Wright from the Dave Ramsey team. We got Adley coming, which is incredible. So I mean, it's a little over $1 million event.
Yeah.
And then we have the Commitment Summit, which is the same type of thing, but it's luxury in Latin America, max of 100 people.
We actually are doing it in Dominican Republic
This year.
Oh, nice.
Dominican.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
so
Mixing it up.
the first 2 years was in Costa Rica, last 2 years was in Cancun, and then the next, I don't know, maybe 2 years in Dominican. We'll see where it's at. So everything that we've got, we'll put a link in yours and some type of promotion depending on the season, and we'll
Head over to highlevelexperience.com / what do we say?
SWS.
SWS to find out more about everything that we're talking about.
Yeah. I love it.
Brilliant. Well, we're at Level Up. There's a lot of cool stuff happening.
Lots.
And I really appreciate you sitting down with me,
Yeah.
sharing your journey. There's always more to talk about.
Yeah.
So I'd love to get you back on in a year's time or something like that. But
Yeah.
really appreciate you being here with us, sharing your passion, sharing your journey, sharing your knowledge with the audience, with the guys, with the high level community. And yeah, thank you. If there is one final piece you'd like to pass on, a message by yourself, JC, you, Karen, now's the time. It's like that thing, the hot seat, yeah.
Man, I mean, we said it a couple of times, but like everything I want to accomplish and that you want to accomplish in life, we're going to do it with other people, our mentors, our team, peers, it's the community. So the better you are at building those relationships. If you're not good at it, that's not an excuse. You got to figure out how to get good at it. You got to figure out how to get out of your comfort zone. Learn how to appreciate the people above you, beside you, and under you. And if you can do those, it will be a lot easier, a whole lot easier.
Okay.
And I think for me, it's just getting to know yourself, and use discernment. I think that has been an incredible thing in our journey of understanding, what are our strengths and our weaknesses, and how can we grow from there? How can we work on those strengths and increase our strengths, and work on our weaknesses, and that is the journey that we're all in, because nobody comes in from day one thinking I'm going to build $1 million, or maybe not a lot of people, right? Like $1 million business, and this is the exact route how I'm going to do it. It's a lot of trial and error. And through that, you're building your resiliency to be able to navigate, what once was hard today is a lot easier than it was before, right? And that is only because we're able to put ourselves in situations that allows us to grow. And the more we can do that, the more we're going to learn and be able to share with others. And that's what we're doing. That's what you're doing in this podcast.
Stay humble, look after that ego, check it in sometimes, and keep improving. I love it.
That's right.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That's a wrap. All right, guys. So thank you so much for watching, for being part of the community. We've got some cool special announcements to make as well, which I'll do in a separate episode, or it might have already happened. Who knows? We'll see when this goes. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. If you enjoy the show, for show notes, for extra tips to help you grow your agency or your SaaS, head over to highlevelexperience.com. If there is any mate that you know that is getting into the space, please share this podcast because I think it can help them as well. And yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you on the next episode.
See you guys.